Hello. This is the lecture 9 for social impact of mass media. Today's lecture we're looking at the Cosby Show. Now, if you haven't seen it already, today we're going to be discussing very closely, I'll be making reference to an episode of the Cosby Show known simply as The Prom, and it's actually available here on YouTube. So if you just put in Cosby Show The Prom, it should come up. So that's Cosby Show The Prom, P-R-O-M. Okay, so if you just put that into YouTube, it's about 20 minutes long, so you should be able to watch the entire episode. And yes, if you do notice, that is Adam Sandler as Theo's friend. Okay, so just to begin with, I just want to lay down the groundwork or the foundation before we start. Well, you have the reading so far for the Cosby Show that I gave out in class. Now, the Cosby Show itself, as you know from the article, is a very, or if you probably already know just from your own viewing history, it's a legendary television show at this stage. But the Cosby Show was a wholesome television sitcom, family sitcom, in the late 80s and early 90s. In America, of course, starring Bill Cosby. Now, the show was very successful in its time, but its success, it seems, is what's at debate. Exactly how successful was the Cosby Show? Well, on surface level, it seems that the Cosby Show is quite harmless, and it seems that, of course, it is quite wholesome viewing and very open, or very acceptable for family viewing, for children and all different types of society. In fact, it seems like a very picturesque or idyllic scenario. A very well-to-do family with well-educated children. They have many of life's opportunities available to them. They seem to be financially well off. Cliff Huxtable is a doctor, and his wife, of course, is a lawyer. They have 5 children who are all quite successful in their own right. And the list is endless. I'm sure this is what becomes immediately apparent. But there are 3 main issues I want to focus on in the Cosby Show. And now, instead of just taking my time and expanding on all the positive aspects, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, and that we're familiar with all these types of normative images presented to us in the media. So, but really what we're going to look for now is an underlying violence that can be found in the Cosby Show. Now, my final lecture will be, and it's posted here on YouTube, or at least should be soon. It's posted here on YouTube, a lecture on violence. So it's up to yourselves which you want to watch first, the lecture on violence, or if you want to continue watching this lecture. But you can go back and forth. This seems to be kind of timeless now. Of course, remember, the medium is the message here. Just the 3 issues I want to touch upon are feminist, Marxist, and also cultural, specifically racism readings of the Cosby Show, or racial readings of the Cosby Show. So this is what I want to take a look at, and we're going to look specifically at the episode The Prom, okay? Now, there are a number of images communicated throughout this episode that establish the social norm, but themselves almost seem to disturb or almost negate the very post-civil rights environment era in America, or this is almost idealized state of the American dream, the realized American dream. That's not just now specific to America, of course. The American dream, almost we could say the modernist dream, or the capitalist dream of success and happiness and all that comes with the typical consumerist pattern. Well, in this episode, we can see Theo, the only son of Cliff and Claire Huxtable, um, and he's about to go off to his prom. So we notice a number of interesting social issues happening here. First, of course, there's the typical gender relationships between men and women. We see assumed gender roles that are normalized and communicated almost standard about, men having to be with women at the prom. We can see that Claire Huxtable's failure to go to the prom with Cliff Huxtable years ago could only be construed by the children to be a terribly negative thing, and that the mother has been suffering her entire life. Of course, the whole motivation for Theo and his two friends is to enter into the consumptive pattern that we've seen, that this postmodern consumerist, always consumptive cycle, and constantly buy the most expensive limo, or not even a limo won't do now. It's about a helicopter and caviar, and we can see the catastrophe that this all ends in by the end of the episode. Not only that, we can see ultimately that this is the fracturing of this dream, or the failure to kind of realize the consumerist idealist state. So at least there is this combating of fulfilling the idealism, that the consumerist idealism for Theo and his friends fails, but ultimately this preconception is still built up, and that even the resolve in the episode is the lending of a car and money to go, continue the night and kind of recoup some sort of loss or make some sort of effort for the night. We see a number of gender roles here, where the gentlemen, or the three men, are chasing women. We also see the specific gender distinction between Cliff and Claire Huxtable. Of course, again, the parallel of the male wooing the woman, but also we see in the family relation the parenting roles. Okay, so we see that Claire, while an independent and successful woman, is still very much the maternal figure and a primary caregiver for the children. Almost, she's the one most in touch with the children. So we see almost these kind of normalized gender roles provided and sustained throughout the episode. Furthermore, now we go to this issue of the Marxist issue, looking at the division of wealth and labor. Okay, well, what we do know about Cliff and Claire Huxtable is that they are a successful married couple. They are both graduates of a fictional university, also an all-black university, which we'll mention next. Okay, when we talk about the race issues. So they are graduates of a fictional university where Cliff is a pediatrician and a gynecologist, and Claire is a lawyer, or solicitor. So right away, we place them in the upper class. We can see that they are a very successful people living in a very well-to-do neighborhood. Ultimately, we see that they're never victims of crime or violence that we can see in the neighborhood or throughout the series. So in this kind of idealized setting, we do see that there is an element of upper class, wealth. Not only that, we see the constant orientation around the prom as well, of the spending of money, the acquiring of the tuxedo, even not knowing what certain parts of the tuxedo do, the sock holders, the straps for your socks. I can't remember what they're called, but the fact that